I want to demonstrate how to create a box in Atomm, Atomm.com. This is a wonderful tool to have to create things to put your items in that you're gifting or making to sell. So I am currently making a wine box that I use to put wine glasses that I sell in. And I went to Creative Tools in Atomm and then Box Generator. I chose this template, the first one on the left, and then you put in your dimensions over on the right. They call it a tissue box, but that's not what I'm using it for. So these are the dimensions I used for the box I'm generating. And I use millimeters because I know that my material is about 3 millimeters thick. It's basswood, which runs about 2.6 really, because I measured it. And I don't change anything else like kerf or tab width or whatever. I don't even know what tab width means, so I chose not to put a pattern on it. If you can, as you can see, that changes it a lot. And then you can adjust the pattern however you want. And then you just can import it after that. You import it to Studio. Here's an example of what it could look like. They have a hole on top for tissue. I generate mine without that, of course. Here you can see hole width, hole height. You just zero that out and then you won't have a hole at all. And that is what the generated box looks like right there. So now I'm going to import it to Studio. I've already done that, so I'm not really going to do it. And then you say open Xtool Studio. Let's go over there. Maybe if I can get there. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, here we go. Okay. So in Xtool Studio, I have manipulated it in a few different ways. And there's other ways you could do this, of course, but I chose to do it right there in Xtool Studio. So one thing I want to do is I want to make these tabs bigger on the sides because I've made several of these boxes and they were too narrow on the edges. So I just take, oh, wait a minute, let me go backwards a little bit. When you first open it, it's going to all come in together. And what you're going to want to do is select the grouped item, click on it, and you're going to say explode. I know it sounds violent, but that's what they use, explode. And so you say explode, and all that does is it makes everything separate. You will still have to ungroup the whole bunch of objects to be able to move them around. So I have done that. And then you can see these purple lines here and here. Those are simply the lines from the side, and you just pull them in. They're guide. You can pull in guides. And I did that because I want to make sure that when I change these little areas here, that I don't change the positioning, just the width, because that's another thing I'm going to change. So the things I'm going to change in this design, this is the lid, and the handles were these handles on the sides were much narrower, so I just elongated them. And you can do that in Xtool by clicking on the item. And let me get out of this screen. You click on the item and you say edit compound. You can release your compound also, but you don't need to go that far. And a compound is just a vector image that is grouped together essentially. And so you say edit compound, and now you can see I can select various areas of my design and edit them directly. So that's what I did, and then I typed in the width that I wanted. It was 3, I changed it to 3.3, and that's all I need to do there because we found that the opening was a little tight for the wood. So, and again, I also edited this part. Oh wait, the way you do that. So if you want to see the nodes on your object, you click edit, and there you go. So now you have nodes. One thing I want to caution you about is you want to make sure that you select all of the nodes in one place. You can't really see them. So there's actually 2 here. And if I didn't select it like that and I just went like that, you can see the handle for only 1. So you have to select it by clicking and dragging. And then you can see that there's a handle on each side, and that means that I've selected both sides. And then what I did was I just drug it out and made sure that I drug out each side the same. So that's how that works. Then I am going to use print then cut. And so I imported my image that I have right here, and I chose print then cut, and you can see I have this image that's going to be printed. Whoops, that's going to be printed, and then it's going to cut the design. And further, to cut the design, it's really interesting the way they've chosen to do this, and it's very convenient for us users, is your processing area shows up here. And whatever you put on your processing area is what's going to be cut. And as you can see, I've already cut these. Let me zoom in. Hold on. I use the little hand tool a lot. And you can just click H, but I can't ever remember what you click to get back to the little pointer. So I don't know. Anyway, I don't do it that way, but I could. So if you want it, so you can see it's on hand. In order to get it off hand, you click on the hand, and now you're back to being able to select your item. So because I finished these, I'm just going to drag them over to the left. I want to make sure I don't do them again. And then I'm going to take this guy with the printout on it, with the print design on it. I need to make sure that it's all grouped together. So I have to learn the shortcut for that because that's just silly. Okay. And I'm going to group it like that. I'm actually going to just click group just to make sure that I don't not click the whole thing, right? So, and then I'm going to drag it over to my processing area, use my little hand again, drag it over here, and it will not try to process any of these other designs on the display because they're not in the processing area. So it's very convenient. Now you have to make sure that your other designs are absolutely not touching the processing area. Otherwise it will give you a processing error, right? So just make sure that you do that. And then I have to put my new piece of wood in, and I'm going to print then cut, which I have selected over here. And I will be putting my printer module into my M2 and print that first, and then I will be cutting all those little lines. The red lines will be being cut. So that's the way you do this. I hope that was helpful. That's it. Bye.